Hello, I'm Victoria.
And I'm Valeria.
We both come from Ukraine and we represent Rozvi, a new Ukrainian youth climate initiative.
We work in two main areas, which is just energy transition and just food system transition, and we also fight for youth inclusion in climate policy in Ukraine.
Yes, and we also collaborate with Eastern European civil society to build a stronger regional movement and in order to advocate for a green post-war reconstruction of our country. In our country, we are obviously facing the biggest problem of war. Russia's invasion since 2022 means that our towns continue to be bombed and struck with missiles every day. Some areas are more affected than others, but there's a risk of a bombing anywhere in the country, and this is not just the genocide of our people, but also an ecocide of our environment, which is suffering a lot. For example, maybe the Kahovka dam explosion, which happened in June this year, when Russia bombed this dam in the south of Ukraine, which caused mass flooding, and people couldn't get out because they were also being shot at, and lots of land was destroyed, and lots of unique biodiversity hotspots elsewhere around the country are also being destroyed because of the fires caused by war and so on.
Yeah, there is a lot of environmental damage that will have its long-term consequences, but there is also something that I would like to emphasize, but something that has been already said for a multitude of times, which is the fossil fuel industry is standing behind the war in Ukraine just because it funds Russia and its ability to wage war in our country. And this is very interesting because just several days ago, Putin, who is the president of Russia, came to the UAE, which felt really, really weird for us. And guess why? Because of the new oil deals. So we still don't know how long the fossil fuel industry will be part of what is happening to Ukraine.
Yes, and it's really showcasing a wider problem here at COP, where we have over 2,400 lobbyists for fossil fuels, and they're here on often government badges. And we want to, I guess one of the things that we want to urge the Japanese government is that they do not ensure the presence of these fossil fuel lobbyists as part of their delegation, because here at COP we are fighting for people's lives and our environment that ensures our survival and the survival of nature as we know it. So we need to be prioritizing the participation of civil society here at COP. So NGOs that represent really diverse perspectives, from indigenous people to people who are maybe most affected by climate change, as well as young people in particular. So we need to have youth delegates on our delegations who are also provided with training and capacity building to ensure that they can participate meaningfully in these climate policy processes, both nationally and internationally.
Yes, and something I would like to add is that the COP 29 is going to be hosted by Azerbaijan, which is responsible for an ethnic cleansing, and this is something important for us to speak about, because we talked about moving away from Russian fossil fuels, but it is really important to move away from fossil fuels per se, in general, because switching from one dictatorship to another dictatorship doesn't really help. This is why we have been advocating for a full fossil fuel phase out during these days at COP.
Yes, and a fossil fuel phase out that is well funded, fossil fuel phase out that is fair and ensures a just transition for workers, especially in the fossil fuel industry, so that they have access to green jobs and also green education and green and climate education must be a priority for everyone in all our schools and all our education programs. This is also needed in Japan. Absolutely, it's needed everywhere to make sure that we can all work together as humanity, because this is a risk to every single one of us. As we already said, we work on the inclusion of young people in Ukrainian climate policy. So one of our main projects right now is about involving young people, actually creating a structure within our government that involves young people directly. So we are in a dialogue that started recently in the summer with the Ministry of Environment of Ukraine about creating a youth climate council, which will ensure that young people from all over the country can get involved in putting positions that have weight to the final outcomes of different governmental legislation processes that are linked to climate change, and also to make sure that all these laws and different decisions in the government are inclusive, and that they are also comprehensive. So it means that, for example, the government sort of considers issues that are not directly just environmental issues, but also social justice issues, and talks to other sectors, for example.
Yeah, and we also have some of educational projects, because we think there is very little information about just transitions in Ukrainian, so the information isn't really accessible to a lot of people. So this is what we aim to do, and this is one of our ways to get more people on board. Full fossil fuel phase out
is our main message.
Yes,
and we need it as soon as possible, and it needs to be included in Japanese law to make sure that there is clear commitments and a clear implementation plan that goes with it.
Yeah, and also we also must not forget all the social implications of it. So yeah, everything should be just.